A young woman seeks revenge for the death of her father, and from a young age is trained to be a criminal. However, she ends up working in an agency that promises her a normal life, although that promise will be crushed on her wedding day. Today on Cinema Recapped, I'll show you The Villainess. The film begins with a person whose face we do not see. This person confronts several men inside a building who are part of a criminal organization. The stranger kills many men and then reaches the top floor of the building, where the mafia boss is found, along with several guards taking care of him. The person fights against all these men, and during the fight we finally get a face reveal and find out that the stranger is a woman with short hair. The woman, named Sook-hee, manages to defeat the men and immediately approaches the boss. She ties a rope around his neck, and then she takes the other end of the rope and jumps out of a window, killing the man. Sook-hee lets go of the rope and falls to the ground, where suddenly the police appear to arrest her. Later we see some people in an office watching the videos recorded by security cameras of the building. They see how Sook-hee defeated the entire criminal organization which they had been looking for. People also see in the cameras how another person took advantage of the entire conflict by entering the building and stealing drugs, but they do not know who it is because he was wearing a mask. These people discuss what to do with Sook-hee since they know that she's dangerous, and at that moment a woman says that she could be very valuable because of her great ability to fight. Later we see Sook-hee in a white room. She gets up for a moment, but she starts to breathe in a gas and ends up fainting after a few seconds. Sook-hee opens her eyes from time to time, and in one of those moments she sees how she's in an operating room. Some people are doing surgery on her face, as if they were changing her features. A few days later we see that Sook-hee is in the room again, but this time she's eating. Then the gas reappears, and Sook-hee falls asleep immediately. At that moment we see a scene from the past when Sook-hee was training with other men to hold her breath, and we can see that she's very good at it because she lasted 6 minutes without breathing. In the present, some men wait for a few minutes and then enter Sook-hee's room to take her away. But she wasn't really passed out, she only pretended and held her breath. Sook-hee escapes from the room and then runs into several quiet girls who are doing different activities such as dancing, cooking, or acting. Sook-hee manages to go to the terrace, but just when she was going to escape, she's shot and falls to the ground. All of this is caught on camera, and there are men watching everything that happens. These men say that Sook-hee will be assigned to one of them, and whoever can make her fall in love will get a promotion. Later, Sook-hee is in a room with a lady who's the head of an agency. The woman tells Sook-hee that she's pregnant, and that she has to sign a contract if she wants to keep her and her baby's lives safe. She also tells her that she has to live in that place for 10 years and obey, and after that time she'll be free. Sook-hee accepts for the sake of her baby and stays there, where she has a normal life since she cooks and has recreational facilities, but she also trains to be a better fighter. After a while, Sook-hee has her baby, a girl, and we see that they already know which man she's going to be assigned to. So this man, whose name is Hyun-soo, shows a lot of interest in her. Then we see a bit of Sook-hee's past, and it seems that her father was killed, and she wanted revenge, but she never managed to do it. In the present, Sook-hee trains for several years while her daughter grows up. After a while, the boss tells her that she has her first mission, to kill a man. Sook-hee accepts and goes to the man's house, ending his life. However, at that moment, she sees that the man's daughter has just witnessed everything, so Sook-hee remembers the time when she also saw her dad getting killed, and can't remember who did it. In the present, the guards find out what's happening, so she quickly leaves the house and tries to escape on a motorcycle, but the guards follow her. She drives through the streets, defeating a few guards on the road. However, she gets cornered, so she ends up escaping by throwing herself into the sea. A few days later, as Sook-hee managed to do the mission successfully, they tell her that they will be setting her free, and that she'll be able to live a normal life in a normal house. The boss takes Sook-hee and her daughter to a house in the city and gives them new names. Sook-hee moves to her new home, and there she runs into Hyun-soo, the man to whom she was assigned, and realizes that this man has just moved into the apartment next door, so now they'll be neighbors. But this is all part of the plan to make Sook-hee fall in love. Hyun-soo begins to get closer to Sook-hee and her daughter, little by little managing to win her heart. In another scene from her past, we see that Sook-hee used to work in a criminal organization because when her father died, she was kidnapped. The mafia boss saved her, and from that moment on, she began to train and work for him. We also realize that Sook-hee ended up falling in love with her boss, and they got married, but right on their honeymoon, the boss had to leave Sook-hee alone in a motel room. After a few hours, Sook-hee was told that her boss, now her husband, had been killed by the same man who killed her father. Then Sook-hee wanted revenge more than ever, so she went to kill the murderer, which was the mafia boss that we saw at the beginning of the movie. In the present, Sook-hee has a date with Hyun-soo. Then they go home and make out, but suddenly Sook-hee's boss calls her, telling her that she has another mission. So Sook-hee asks the man to stay and look after her daughter while she goes out for a bit. Sook-hee goes to the location of the mission, where she sees a friend she met at the agency. The friend tells her that if they complete that mission, they will let her be free as well. Then the two proceed to do the mission, which is to obtain information from some men. However, something goes wrong and they're caught, so a fight begins and Sook-hee's friend ends up dying. Later, Sook-hee delivers the information to her boss and goes home, very sad. The next day, Sook-hee asks Hyun-soo to marry her because if something happens, her daughter can stay with him. Then Sook-hee mentions the wedding to her boss, and the boss accepts it and even offers to organize the event. The day of the wedding, Sook-hee receives a call from her boss who tells her that she has a mission to assassinate someone with a sniper rifle. Sook-hee goes to the bathroom wearing her wedding dress and takes the gun they prepared for her, aiming from one of the windows. However, just when she was going to shoot, she realizes that the target is her ex-husband, whose name is Jung-song. Sook-hee is so shocked that this man is still alive that she ends up missing the shot. Then she puts down the gun and erases all the evidence before she continues with her wedding. Sook-hee ends up marrying Hyun-soo, and at the end of their wedding, she wonders how her ex-husband is still alive. She deduces that it was all a hoax and that he wanted to get rid of her, and that's why he faked his death, sending her to the building to fight the criminal organization. That night, we see that Jung-song, the man who was supposedly dead, investigates who tried to kill him and discovers that it was Sook-hee. Although at first he does not recognize her, since they changed her face, he ends up realizing that it was her. Then Sook-hee finds out that another girl will soon be sent to kill her ex-husband, and decides not to do anything. A few days later, Sook-hee receives some flowers with a note and a USB drive. She examines the contents of the memory card privately, finding a recording in which Hyun-soo, her current husband, says that is a member of the agency just like her. Sook-hee realizes that this man fooled her, and that he only fell in love with her work, and also deduces that the one who sent her the video was her ex-husband, so she returns the favor by notifying him that they're going to try again to kill him. Then Jung-song manages to avoid being killed and captures the girl who was going after him. Meanwhile, Sook-hee's boss goes to look for her, and captures her in order to exchange hostages with Jung-song. Later, Sook-hee and her boss are on their way to the exchange point when suddenly they're cornered by some men. These men eliminate all the guards, but the boss manages to escape. Sook-hee removes her handcuffs and realizes that Jung-song, her ex-husband, rescued her. Sook-hee asks him to go pick up her daughter, to which Jung-song agrees. But just when Sook-hee was about to go up to the apartment, she sees Hyun-soo and her daughter hurtled out of the window by an explosion. They fall to the ground, dead. Sook-hee gets very angry and goes to her boss's office to claim her, because she thinks she's the one who had her family killed. However, the boss tells her that it wasn't her and shows her recordings of the department, so she can see the truth. We see that when Hyun-soo arrived at the apartment with the girl, he was kidnapped by Jung-song's men. After a few minutes, Hyun-soo had the opportunity to talk to Jung-song and told him that the girl is his daughter, since Sook-hee was pregnant before she came to the agency. But even though he knew that the girl could be his daughter, Jung-song asked Hyun-soo to kill her, and in exchange he would spare his life. Hyun-soo did not accept the deal, and tried to fight the men, but he couldn't beat them. Then Jung-song's men rigged the bomb inside the apartment. They monitored everything, and when they saw Sook-hee arriving, detonated the bomb. Once finished watching the recording, Sook-hee gets very angry and shoots wildly. The boss tells her that Hyun-soo did not make her fall in love just because of work, but that he actually really loved her. Sook-hee decides to take revenge against her ex-husband and goes to look for him. When she finds him, she complains about what he did to her family, and Jung-song replies that he not only killed them, but that he's also the murderer of her father. When she hears this, Sook-hee gets even angrier and starts fighting Jung-song. After a lot of fighting, Jung-song decides to escape on a bus with his whole gang, but Sook-hee takes a car and follows them. She manages to catch up with them and get on the bus. Then she starts fighting the gang until only she, Jung-song, and the driver are left. Sook-hee and Jung-song have another fight, and just when it looked like Jung-song was going to win, Sook-hee manages to move the steering wheel, making the bus flip. Everyone is injured by the impact, but Sook-hee manages to stand. She approaches Jung-song and he asks her to kill him, saying that nothing matters anymore, but that after she kills him, she'll regret it. Sook-hee ends his life, and at that moment the police arrive to arrest her again, just like at the beginning of the movie. The end. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving recaps of the best drama and action movies. Thanks for watching.